Today is December 10th. The New York Yankees have signed Max Fried to the largest contract ever given to a lefty pitcher. Let's talk Yanks, baby!
Yanks with old John Boy, Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, steaming hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talkin' Yanks with old John Boy, and Jake. Talkin' Yanks with old John Boy, and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks, presented to you by SeatGeek, code Yanks15. My name is Jake Storielli. That is Jimmy O'Brien, BBD producing, and the Yankees have a new starting pitcher, Max Fried from the Atlanta Braves, for 8 years, $218 million to bolster that Yankee rotation. Jim, I want to let you cook. You're on a bit of a shot clock in Australia. Hey, for everyone listening, go check out Blitzball Battle 5 on our Warehouse Games channel. Baggage plays tonight. Go watch this and go watch that. We were also the last game, so go taste us a little bit. And a little spoiler, we played that game. We're playing this game. I don't know. Go check that out. Also, subscribe to the channel. All that stuff helps. Jimmy, Max Fried, you were on it.
Seemed like the move. They were linked to him. They got it. Yeah, Max Fried. It's the 8 years is a lot, but the Yankees about the AAV, like that is the number you have to focus on. They extended the years on Soto, instead of the upfront money. They want the AAV lowered. This is a pretty good deal. It's like the Rodon deal plus 2 extra years. Fried's better than Rodon and has done it for longer than Rodon had done at that point. And you're 2 years later into, life and how this grows. So the 8 years is shocking. The what they're paying over the towards the tax, the AAV, if you don't know what that is not bad. It's like 27 mil, I believe. And in our calculation, that leaves them still with a lot of money to spend this year to put on the books this year. I think we have 53 million remaining to get to 300 mil. So this is one move that allows you to do a ton of other moves. I think that's the most fun conversation. But for anyone that just wants to hear about Fried first, he's a lefty pitcher. I one thing I remember about him is he's really good at fielding his position for a lefty pitcher. So, they saw what happened in the 5th inning. No, but he is good. So that's cool. And I like that. He's got a nice mustache. He looks like a Yankee. He's been on a winning team, the Braves. He's been with a good organization. He's been to the World Series. He's pitched in a lot of postseason games. His most recent playoff performances aren't great. I think he's probably going to enjoy being behind Cole and not being the ace of the staff. My gut punch reaction is I hope this allows us to make more moves. Now can they go fetch Bellinger? Now can they go fetch Crochet? Does Heel entice the pot? Does Nestor or even Schmidt entice the pot in any of those moves and make competitive trade offers for a bat or for whoever? I hope that's the case of the second domino here, and not they're worried about Cole's arm because he did have to go to a specialist and did have to miss a season. And if he's out for the words I don't want to say, you need a backup ace. I'm hoping that's sell that helps. But I hope they're saying, no, we got the 3 of these guys, and now this allows us a much more fluid offseason.
Yeah, and the Cole stuff, there's, he got hurt last year and he came back, and the last time we saw him on the mound was the best he looked. So there's a chance Cole's good, in that, kind of like we talked about, the free agent market that laid out was pitching. There's good pitching available. The hitting's a lot more risky. Funny that you started with the defense, Jim. I was going to put that as the cherry on top. We love watching a good defensive pitcher, 3-time Gold Glove winner. So that's fun. Even Tanaka during the Talkin' Yanks time. Anytime Luke Weavedog turned some heads this year. So that's fun with Max Fried. But I think what the people need to know, the last 5 years, 112 starts, a 2.81 ERA. Pitching in the NL East, so against the Phillies, the Mets. Sure, there's some other teams there, but Max Fried has been one of the best lefty pitchers in baseball last year. He finished 29 starts at 3.25 last season. And his first 2 starts, and I think he was banged up coming out of spring. His first 2 starts were stinkers that he was a 2.85 the rest of the way. So this guy is a stud. He doesn't give up a lot of home run balls, which we like. There's the classic, when we're talking 8 years, lefties somehow seemingly find a way to be crafty, and he can kind of join the lefty fraternity of Yankees pitchers, from Pettit to CeCe. Rodon, kind of a friend part of the fraternity. You're in, but let's do it again, pal. But yeah, the Yankees had a significant starter, and it's very Yankee of us to want to jump to the next thing, and I'm excited too, because okay, is it the outfield? Is it the infield? And are they going to trade, a little peeling back the curtains? Me and Joe's McFly recorded a 50-minute long episode of Talking Yanks. BBD literally hit the post button. The Max Fried news dropped. So if you saw something on your feed and it came off, that's what that was. Maybe that'll be a secret episode on our Substack. Where
Nice.
I just hit publish on the Substack, so it's available there if you want to subscribe on Substack, johnboymedia.com.
It's a great episode.
Do you guys have some good stuff to say?
We talked about a lot of good stuff. The possibility of Max Fried, some other things. So it's cool that we have that part done, and we should be super excited. And if the Yankees aren't the Yankees, and Cheap Al, literally the biggest contract ever given to a lefty starting pitcher. So that's a little something out there. And yeah, it's just, okay, if you're Clark, if you're Nestor, if you're Stroman, if you're Luis Heel, someone, if not multiple guys, are going to be traded.
Yeah. But it's what I said on the Soto episode, in which I was not driving. Saw a lot of comments saying
right,
it was bad, but I was like not even looking at the road at all. I'd be a terrible driver. It was in Australia.
You would have been an incredible driver. There was times you were looking completely backwards.
Yeah, it's 10:40 in the morning here. I can open the hotel blinds if I want. We slept in. Claire's not feeling well, but it kind of needed to happen, because if you're not getting Soto, your trade chips suddenly, you don't want to trade Jones and you don't want to trade Dominguez. You want to hold on and let one of those guys win out and be a 4-year, get their full stretch of play if they're the good players that we assess them to be. So where's your assets there to go on in the trade market, which Cashman talks about how, free agency is a much steeper price. It's easier because you can just pay the most, but it's a steeper price to get talent, where the trade market is where you can get guys that are younger with still like plus years. You look at Walker, who they're reportedly in on. We looked at Bregman, and you look at all their trends, and they're trending down, and they're getting older, and you're going to pay for their older years. With bats and everyday players, you want the younger years. And that you can't get them now because guys graduate so late to service time. You have to try and trade for them. So I think that's the play. I do think this was the smart first domino. The rest isn't really up to them. Like, you need 2 people to make a trade. You need a lot to align. But I just think they've set themselves better to go fill the needs. Like, if this helps Len Bellinger, who can play left field, center field, and first base, kind of like defensively, he's a lefty bat, top of the lineup. Like, if this helps them go get him in a competitive offer, because now they can offer other pitchers, then yes, you need to, because Belly kind of just fits the bill on a short term, doesn't fuck up the AAV, doesn't fuck up the window, helps the window, and the versatility. The more I've thought about how much he is a fit, the more I think the Yankees kind of have to look at that and be like, he can help our defense in 3 different areas.
Yeah, the Cody Bellinger fit, and hey, we know how the Yankees think, and I actually shout out to my guy with the last name Tucker. I met him on the train commuting from work today. That Jim, I don't know if the rumor you've even seen today in Australia time, but Kyle Tucker is reportedly being traded. He has 1 more year left. He'd be a really good fit as Yankees left field, but it's trading with the Astros, and what do they ask for?
The Astros said he was being traded.
They're listening to offers.
Well,
Yeah,
That's
It's other things, and it's a tick more than just due diligence.
didn't Crane come out and say he wasn't going to extend Bregman because he wanted to extend Tucker?
well, the Astros' whole thing is they don't do more than 5-year contracts. So I think Kyle Tucker is going to demand much more than that. So I think they're trying to get ahead of it. So, but yeah, it's the
Just
next
1 year though.
It's 1 year, and the Yankees just got hurt by that. So it becomes a really interesting conversation there. And Cody feels like a fit, and you wonder what other teams are in there and what does the price tag look like. But you have to imagine the Yankees, we've talked about kind of a one-track mindset. That's what I was talking to my guy with the last name Tucker on the train about. That now it feels like pitching is done, and it's going to be survival of the lease trade demand, whether Clark, Nestor, the Stroman dump, if that still happens. And it's going to be all eyes to first base, either second base, third base, and then one or two outfield positions. And that whole conversation is brought to you by Mountain Dew. Why don't you guys get off your ass and grab a Mountain Dew? And if you can cover outfield, New York will have you, because we need some bodies out there. The bold flavors and refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew will get you off your ass and having you feel like you're on an actual mountain where the weather is perfect. Your friends are ready to hang, and a day of epic proportions await. Maybe you sign the best lefty ever. Maybe you play blitzball in our warehouse. Maybe you go for a nice walk. That's always a win. No one ever comes back from a nice walk and has a bad time. The mountain is calling. You should answer. Grab your friends, grab an ice cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold, and do the Dew. Okay, man. Hey, we got a rotation, right?
Yeah. Yeah, got a rotation. I'm trying to look at the money and do the math. So like 50 mil to spend. Belly would be 27. Tucker's got to be cheaper than that, right? Obviously.
I think the number we said was around 16 in his last year of ARB.
That adds up. Okay. I just think the Yankees and the Astros, I don't know if that.
Right.
I don't know if I want to trade them a pitcher.
Right.
And I don't know if they want to trade us a lefty outfielder. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that happening. I think they're going to get a reliever.
Sure.
So
Chris Martin rumors today, Jim.
Oh, wow.
Old Coldplay.
Yeah. Daughter in the news. Tanner Scott, they're talking about. Like, Boone had quotes about him. I think they're going to go get one of those relievers, add him to the pile, because all the trades I did for relief pitching, I think they're going to trade for kind of bats. They could trade for more relievers. But as far as saying pitching's done, starting pitching's done in the sense that they're not going to add more, I don't think. They're just going to try to trade some away.
Yeah.
Because right now, Heel and Clark round out the rotation, right? Like Nestor.
Well, right now, Fangraphs has Stroman in the rotation, but right now your battle for the fifth spot would be Clark, Stroman, and Nestor.
Yeah. So there's trades to be made.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
exciting.
Yeah, no, it is exciting, and that's probably, well, I mean, you can't rule out the Yankees for any of the free agents. They were in on Max Fried and they went there, and I think the thing is, even if Dominguez is in the club and he's going to get an outfield spot next year, first base, second base, and then another outfield spot. So it is kind of funny that Nestor, Clark, and Heel all have very different propositions at this point that line up with potential suitors, that it does allow the Yankees to find different options for trade. So the Cubs and Cody Bellinger, say Nico Horner gets involved too. He's a 2-year second baseman, defense contact. If you can get both of them, does Luis Heel fit that bill for both of them? Does Clark Schmidt, who has 2 years? Nestor's interesting because he's 1 year. So if you find a 1-year hitter from another team, like that's kind of an easy swap. That the Yankees have different options that fit different trades, that it's going to allow them to start addressing their needs.
What was your trade in our episode for Luis Robert.
Luis Robert, I believe I was trying to dump Stroman because there's money in play there, and I was willing to give up one of the prospects like Spencer Jones,
Okay.
because I do think Luis Robert has demand to him.
And they're linked to Crochet, according to reports.
Sure.
So you just go to the White Sox and you give them Caleb Durbin,
Right.
our starting second baseman right now, according to Cash. So he's an MLB starter.
Right.
As we talk.
Yes.
No longer a prospect.
What
Kid's
MVP?
a big leaguer.
He's an MVP of the Arizona Fall.
Yes. And Luis Hill, Rookie of the Year. Can I interest you in a Rookie of the Year, an MVP, and Nestor? And they say, nah.
I think Crochet's out. I don't think they're going to add another pitcher.
They could.
They could, but I mean, Crochet's price tag that's empty the farm stuff.
Put him in the pen.
Right, but that's nice. That's nice. But the White Sox would. I don't think Jones and Dominguez gets us Crochet.
I think you got to look at you got to look at Tucker, which Astro stuff is hard. Belly, Robert, all these bats that have a year or year plus. Does the Luis Hill from Vinny Pasquantino trade come back on the table? That was never anywhere besides our office walls.
No rumor except a conversation in our office.
Yeah.
Not even between us. It was Dan Rourke and Ryan Cohen.
Yeah. But it's on the table. It exists. Right. I think that you got to go look at all those bats.
Yes.
Unless they are still in on Walker.
Yeah, I free agents aren't out for me. I mean, I don't know if it's more value bin. There's not really a center fielder. And like, we've talked through like the Santanders are a little too risky. I don't know. I think, man, if Kyle Tucker is somehow on the table and there's a 1-year rental price tag for him, and something we talked about in the 50-minute episode that got banged, hey, we don't know where Houston or the Yankees are at. Like the Yankees and the Red Sox traded before the season. Houston, like if Kyle Tucker's on the table, that's the best Juan Soto replacement you're going to get. And maybe other teams just watch the Yankees get burned, that they're not willing to offer real prospects. So if the Yankees have the best offer for Kyle Tucker, I mean, my God, that would be supreme defense, not a crazy price tag. It's just the risk of losing him for more assets. And when you lost Soto, there was going to be more risk, whether that's prospect capital or whether that's going out and getting other free agents.
Tucker and Belly would make a lot of sense because they're lefties and they play the outfield. I just wonder if you can get them, if you have enough, if the Astros would make the trade. The Cubs will, if you have the best package, they will.
Right.
And yeah, they can still grab a bat off free agency, obviously. Like if they still think Walker is a great fit on a short term, on like a 2-year or a 3-year deal, which is what people are projecting him to get at 18 mil, maybe is what Fangraphs is projecting. They've been slightly low on some. Others, no. The hitters market isn't really there yet because Soto was not reflective of the market.
Right.
So there's a lot to happen. I think the best thing there's 2 good things about Max Fried. The rotation just got way, 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 way better.
Yeah.
And it is clearly an opening domino, not a closing domino.
Yes.
Because Cashman said on his appearance the other day, he said, we still have holes to fill. He said, we have first base for sure. He said, we have second base and third base, depending on.
Right.
We said both, because Jazz can play both. And then he did say that Martian's going to slide into center field.
Yeah, I guess that's the interesting. It's where are they at with Martian? Like, do we have 2 outfield spots to fill or 1? And at this point,
1.
At this point, I think you're right. Like again, in the episode that you have to go check out on our Substack now, like it almost makes more sense if you remember my original free agency plan had Michael A. Taylor just for like giggles. Like almost bring in a guy like that just as like Dominguez insurance early on, but it feels like one of the things you
Talkman.
do. Signed White Sox.
Trade.
That news didn't get to Australia yet.
That didn't come through. No,
That's
damn.
crazy. It's a Talkman hive over there. How's Greg Bird? I saw you saw Greg Bird.
Dude, Greg Bird. Crazy.
Like that.
Like Greek god. I sent you a picture. I told him I wouldn't share that.
Yeah.
So
I did.
I just gotta send this to Jake. He looks like and I told this to Moilo, which is what everyone calls Moylan over here,
Sure.
and we don't call him that. And I was like,
We do a little
why
bit.
but not as like that's what they call
Right.
it.
Right.
I was talking to like a lady in ticket sales and like like anyone, Moilo,
Right.
Moilo. Couples retreat,
Sure.
your favorite scene.
Yeah. Encouragement, yes.
Encouragement, yes. That's who Greg Bird was in the clubhouse.
Boom.
No,
Boom.
it was good. It was good to see him. He was happy.
Okay, do we need anything else, Max Fried? Like stud, lefty, handsome, not a beard guy.
No, I think right now the episode is what does this mean for the offseason? And then like come spring training, PPPs, it's who's this guy? What are you expecting as a pitcher? Because we could have done the whole episode here, but you're gonna forget it by the time that happens.
You're gonna forget it.
And I gotta run. Is Joe's coming?
Let's see. BBD is going to get an update on Joe's. I think we lay out kind of our ideal offseason the rest of the way, but it's brought to you by Via. Need a break from crowded stores and endless gift lists? Restore your zen and embrace the natural power of hemp this holiday season with Via. Via, the only lifestyle hemp brand. They use compounds found in hemp along with active plant extracts to create products, each with a specific effect in mind. Their premium THCA flower helps us unwind after a long day of recording, while their Delta 9 gummies give me that perfect boost of creativity when we're prepping the next episode. What will the next episode be? This holiday season, gift yourself some peace of mind if you're 21 plus. Check out the link to Via in our description. Use code YANKS to receive 15% off after you purchase. They will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. This holiday, enhance your everyday with Via, VIIA, code YANKS, 15% when you're checking out. Okay. Oh, looks like a Joe Solano is going. I guess, Jim, your final, if you had the Cashman keys the rest of the way, I know we don't have all the financials, but it's Belly, it's who else?
It's a lefty, top of the order bat.
Okay. So like Belly counts for you on that?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think that those exist in the free agent pool. I just double checked. They don't really exist.
It's ugly fixes. It's Santander, who hitting is awesome, but the defense is atrocious.
So I want this domino to lead to a top of the order lefty bat, first base or outfield, and that's now available. So hopefully they have more chips to make that move. That player isn't available in free agency. You can go look. It's just really not.
Yeah.
Like an instant plug that's a lefty up top. All right. I got to go, though. Love you guys. Joe's, you'll say great stuff. I believe it. Goodbye.
Love you.
That was a really nice moment. Joe's McFly, a man built on reactions. How are you doing?
I'm doing great because now this allows other pieces to happen. It's so funny. We just left the office and recorded.
We waited all day.
It's on the Substack, bro. People can go check it out.
We recorded a whole episode. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So we recorded a whole episode just talking about if this deal happens and what it can allow. And now the Yankees could use their strength, deal from their strength, which is pitching now, and try to acquire some bats because the free agent, I'm sure Jimmy talked about it, the free agency pool for hitting is not the most favorable, except for Walker. But I don't know. I don't know how the Yankees feel about Walker completely yet.
Right.
Max Fried, baby, let's go. 8 years. You gotta pay. You gotta in this market right now, bro. It's just the way it is. Let's call a spade a spade.
Well,
we gotta overpay a little bit.
Another thing Jimmy mentioned, I mean, we're talking crazy money, but the AAV with that eighth year did come down probably a little bit from where it would have been with 7. So that's optimistic for getting more work done this offseason. And Joe's, I'm going to let you cook on this for a little bit because Jimmy wasn't ready. You were on it. Like, the news had barely gotten to Australia. They're 2 days behind us over there. I mentioned Kyle Tucker and his wheels started spinning, but he couldn't
fathom.
He can't fathom that yet. And I understand why. I was in the same boat.
24 hours ago, if we, in America,
get me to what did he say when you
Oh, my. Joe's, I think, just got swallowed by the abominable snowman. So I'll tee it up until he's back. Oh, Joe's?
Yo?
I think we got you. Okay. Kyle Tucker.
What did Jimmy say? What did Jimmy say? Kyle Tucker.
He just kind of did like, Houston. It's hard to believe that. And it's, he said, and it is a good note, he's like giving them a pitcher is scary, because they're a pretty good pitching team. But, like we talked about in the episode that never aired, there's some mental gymnastics. Like, would Houston actually ever trade with Joseph? Kyle Tucker is actually on the table for a fair price. He is the best Juan Soto replacement and maybe even a better fit for the team.
100%. Makes the team better defensively. The team can now get deeper also offensively because now the Yankees could kind of spread the wealth a little bit money-wise and put people at third still. You can still plug in holes there and at first. And in addition to a Kyle Tucker. So put him at left, Judge at right again. Defense gets insurmountably better, man. I'm with that, man. If you can do that, just deal from your position of strength. It's scary to give him a pitcher, but you got to win in this Judge window or else what's all this for?
A great point. Judge and Cole up against it. Where do you want them to go next? Let's say it's not Kyle Tucker. Like Jim was pretty locked in on Bellinger, maybe Horner. How about this? The Yankees they're usually one-track mind. They got their starting pitcher. They're going to trade from their starting pitching depth. I would have to believe their next move is getting an impact lefty. Tucker, Belly, or someone that we're not thinking about.
Yeah, I think that's where the move is right now. And I think Cash is going to, flex his trading muscle, use his relationships that he's accumulated throughout the 30-plus years in the Yankee organization and try to be able to do that, whether that's, like you said, getting that lefty there or, you know what? Because you just don't know. Cashman talked about this yesterday on Yankee Hot Stove. He's like, I don't care what the domino is that falls, kind of. Like, he just say, let's get good players. Would you like that, right? You like that. So whatever move happens, and I'm sure that he has a couple of, like he likes to call levers. And, the Max Fried lever was pulled now. So now he gets to do other stuff. Now he gets to offer Heel to try to do stuff, but it might be a situation where you can offer Heel and also offer Stroman and whatever it is, and you can go ahead and get those two pitchers to net you some other bats, and maybe the Yankees will take on a bad contract with some upside.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a move at some point, but I feel like that's not going to be the next one. Like, and hey, sound off in the comments if you've got someone you're eyeing for the Yanks, let us know.
Oh yeah.
I was daydreaming like Jamer Candelario has had a couple good years. I think he signed a 3-year, $15 million per year. His first year with Cincy was bad. Like, would the Yankees do Stroman for him? They get a pitcher. The Yankees get a potential first baseman. Like, I feel like the Yankees are going to explore that market, and I don't know if Jamer Candelario is the guy, but I feel like there's going to be something out there like that that feels very cash Gottian. But dude, we need lefties, man. That I was yelling at anyone in the office today who would listen. The second half of our lineup was all lefty, and in the playoffs they were an out. Juan Soto was the lefty that split up Glaber, Judge,
Yep.
and Stanton. So like, we need a lefty impact bat. Belly scratches that itch for me.
100%.
Kyle Tucker has been the first name I've heard that I've been like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, like let's go out and win the damn thing this year. So that's going to be the number one rumor I've got my eyes on.
Yeah, 100%. That's what you got. If you got to do that, if you have that available to you, like truly available to you, then go out and get that done. Now, what are the Astros asking for? I don't know.
Right.
We talked about a Yankee tax in the office and in the episode that never aired. And yeah, there's that Yankee tax that could be added on there. But do what's best for both of your teams. Forget about this hate between both organizations, and do what's best for your futures.
Well, and that's Joe's. You noted this in the episode that'll never air, but after the Soto situation, there's definitely teams that are freaked out by trading for a 1-year player. That they don't feel their prospects will be worth that risk. That I thought it would be interesting balancing out. The Yankees did try to extend Judge, and they got close. They didn't get to the finish line, and the Yankees got burnt by that. Where Soto, there was never a chance because of exactly what happened with his free agency. That
right.
Kyle Tucker, if you traded for him, and you would have to offer him a big boy contract, but man, it's something for him to think about because he did get banged up last year. If you have a down year in your free agent season or another injury, people start asking questions that the Yankees just showed they're willing to throw a bag. And Kyle Tucker's the kind of guy that you'd throw a bag at. So I wonder if that could be their advantage. Could you trade for him and actually get an extension done in the $300 million? And if you don't think Kyle Tucker is one of those guys, go look at the price tags. Go look what he's done on the baseball field. That guy is he is the first guy I've looked at, and I got more excited than last year's team. Like,
yes,
you bring in Kyle Tucker and you make a couple strategic moves, you can be better than last year.
100%. I mean, the team could be more balanced and money spread around more as well. And he won't cost you $780 million. So now he's not as young as Juan Soto. He's not as good of a hitter as Juan Soto. The drop off isn't that crazy though. And defensively, he's way better. So if you can do that, I need that, please. I just feel like, why would Houston do that? And Houston could just kind of use the Yankees as leverage and just deal them to somebody else. Just say, hey, the Yanks are offering this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like those things will happen. But think about this outfield, Jake. Judge, Soto, Verdugo in the outfield, right? Or
right.
Judge, Tucker, Dominguez or Bellinger? I mean, that feels way better defensively already.
It feels athletic. It feels defensive. It feels like there's some punch there too. Man, I wonder, winter meetings are going on and the Yankees definitely did not love the Soto Mets news. I wonder if we might be back in the lab. I feel like sometimes the Yankees front office, they get pissy that Fried could be the start of another move tonight. The Yankees, what's the term you like to use, Joe? Sometimes they like to unfurl it.
Yeah. Sometimes they like to enforce their will. And they probably want to feel like they want to do that because Steve Cohen kind of did that on them. He kind of enforced his will. And it's time for the Yankees to do the same. And Max Fried is just step one of the next thing. He pitched in the World Series.
Yeah,
We're good there. So he can handle a big stage, big situation. Tucker has played in very big games as well.
Oh boy.
We're starting to get some hardware in that locker room, man. Get some people in there that have been there.
Yeah, I wonder if a Bregman rumor pops up. There was Correa rumors today.
That's crazy. I don't want to get too much
boy.
into that. I can't do that.
BBD, what have we missed?
Let's see. Only thing I've got in regards to Kyle Tucker, because people might be like, Rental, who was hurt last year, the injury was a broken leg on a hit by pitch.
Right.
And the 3 years before that, he played 140, 150, 157 games, 58 out of 60 in the 60-game 2020 season. So straight up, not like that. That ain't a problem. Ain't no problem.
Hey, if the Yankees end up with Kyle Tucker, tune in because the boys are gonna be bopping.
Oh, no
man,
idea.
that Belly and maybe Belly, Nico Horner, like that starts to get us on a path. That starts to get us on a path for a nice offseason coming off the tough Soto news. So, hey, shout out to BBD doing the double record on this episode. John Boy, Joe's McFly, that alien that tried to attack us mid-episode. Shout out. And thank you guys. Make sure you're subscribed and all that good stuff. Comment below what you want from the offseason. Go check out Blitzball Battle 5. I think it premieres in like 20 minutes. So
yes,
go check that out. Baggage versus Love Yous, me and Jim versus Nikki Cass. And hey, I hope we're talking to you soon because that would mean the Yankees did something else. Hey, let's go Yanks, baby. Max Fried, 8
let's
years.
Go.
Get out there and snap some curveballs, Pat.
Let's go.
Hey, let's go Yanks. Tell them, Grandma.
Go Yankees.
Let's go Yankees! Let's go Yankees!
This was like the other app, but with more stuff.
Yeah, with concrete stuff.